Here we go. All right, guys, what is up? It is Jordan, and it is my wife, Sarah. I am married. Okay, some of you didn't know that. The last couple of videos have kind of been, semi-popular. It's been nice, and some of you thought that I was like 17. And then one video I said I was married, and then you were like completely blown away. But no, I am not 17. I have been married for a year now. We have been married for a year now. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Our anniversary is on Monday, the 28th, and it is now Saturday morning because we got up early, guys. Okay, we're still early risers. I haven't turned on my phone yet. Okay, check out that video somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk a little bit today about what people said our first year of marriage was going to be like, and what it was actually like. And cut me off if I'm talking too much, because I know I talk a lot, and then you don't ever get a word in. So just let me know. This is going to be an unedited video, by the way, for the new subscribers, because we have gained quite a few over the past couple weeks. We do these sometimes. Okay, so this channel, it might be very confusing. It's confusing to me too. We never really know what we're gonna post.
Just hang tight.
Just hang tight. All right. So we do unedited videos sometimes. It gives me a break from like intensely editing, because I get way too into it. Anyways, so we have a list here of things that we're going to talk about. So Sarah, look, you were the one with the real job. Okay. So what were people telling you that marriage was going to be like the first year?
They said it was going to be horrible. Like the first year, they're like, if you can make it through that, then it gets better from there. Like, don't worry, it'll get better. First year, it's gonna be like the worst ever. You're gonna have this huge adjustment, and basically just made it sound like if you can get past this like giant obstacle course of a first year of marriage, then you might be okay.
Right, like somehow the second year gets magically better or something.
Yeah, but so now that we've gone through it, we can see if that was true.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't, like, okay, let's be real here. Sarah was the one, and sorry, this is really bright. Sarah was the one who was like, hey, we should do a video about, like, what we've learned our first year of marriage. And I was like, I didn't really learn
much.
Like, what do I talk about? So, but then you brought up, like, what people had said and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, right, I guess that is like common, because here's the thing. Okay, we grew up in like the Bible Belt, and grew up going to church and youth group and everything like that. Like, that is our lives. So Sarah being at her real job and it not like every person being like that, it was interesting to see like their perspectives on like what marriage is like and everything like that. So
and also, we did not live together before we got married.
Yeah,
so
and we didn't.
That was also kind of a weird thing. Like, everyone was like, because we had a house before we got married that I lived in by myself, and everyone was like, Sarah, why is he just not living there? Like,
right.
Basically, I was very confusing to most of the people I was around, and concerning our relationship. But getting to it, I feel kind of almost like I can't even say it, but the first year of marriage was not hard. Like, it wasn't hard at all. And I think I was not surprised by that, but I was more surprised at how many people said that it was going to be like the worst thing ever, the hardest thing ever.
Right.
And then I almost feel a little bit conceited saying that, like, it wasn't even really an adjustment. It was just really natural, even though we didn't live together before, which everyone was like, well, if you haven't lived together, how are you going to know, like, if you guys are going to work out? And honestly, that is a total myth, because it wasn't hard.
It wasn't really at all. Which I'm trying to understand why that was, and I still can't I mean, the only thing that I can think of, like we had talked about before, was that, like, we kind of knew we had been dating for so long. Like, we had dated for, like, what was it?
5 years.
Like 5 years, okay? Was that the greatest choice? I don't really know. Sorry, I was just so paranoid about the lighting. But so we like knew each other's like
we knew each other very well.
Yeah, we knew like weird things about each other and just stuff like that, like weird quirks that each of us has and stuff like that. So it wasn't like, and there was no surprise. I had seen Sarah without makeup on like many times, and I've heard that this is like something that
Yeah,
some
on
girls
the other
like don't.
side of the spectrum, I've also heard of like girls who their fiance, like they're engaged, but they've not seen them without makeup yet, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Right. It's
what are you doing?
right. Like if you put yourself in that situation, I can kind of see where maybe, but I don't know. I can't figure it out. I don't get what the big deal is. And there's like this stigma, like what I want to talk about. There's like this stigma around getting married or just marriage in general that it like can what is the word I'm trying to think of here? It like restrains you or
It's like you're putting on the shackles as soon as you get
yeah,
married.
it's not cool or
the
something.
fun's over.
Yeah,
And it's just not true.
Didn't seem like that much at all. So if you're out there and you like want to get married but you're scared, like there's really not much to be scared about. First year of marriage isn't bad. I mean, I guess if you
I think it
like
can
what would
be.
right like what so to the people out there, what would make their first year of marriage like just shocking, where there's like, oh no.
I think what it is that really honestly your marriage is going to be what you make it. Like no one can really tell you what your marriage is going to be like because they're not you, and so it's up to you and your spouse to decide what your marriage is going to look like. And I guess that might be sometimes the hard part because you do have to meet in the middle a lot and understand each other. And also I think the biggest thing is just be forgiving and not selfish. I think being selfish is probably the biggest killer to making a marriage work, because there are sometimes, I think this goes for both of us, that we grew up in different households, different families, different lifestyles, to a degree, and so there's going to be differences between us. But when Jordan does something that is not how I would do it or how I would like it to be
she
done,
just starts to scream immediately. I'm like, Sarah.
the thing is to not start to scream immediately or not to get mad at that person, but just remember that like it is, I mean, even though it didn't really feel like really a transition for us, it's like, okay, this is something this person does differently, and either let it go, like just don't get upset over stupid things, or if it really bothers you, then just be like, hey, this is how I would really love if this could be done. Do you think that that's something we could do? Or say why you want it done that way.
Right.
And I think that is the biggest key in getting along your first year, when you're starting to notice those little things that maybe you didn't know before.
But I also think it's like something that could mess with people is like our lifestyle is not that it's maybe it's what some people would consider boring. But it's not like we're like going out doing stuff all the time. So like I'm just like a homebody. I like doing stuff at home. So it wasn't, and I mean, you're kind of the same way now. But I could see how like maybe your first year of marriage would be difficult if it was like both people were so used to like living their separate lives. Because you know how some people are. It's like you do your man things, I do my like woman things, and we have different friend groups and different do told. But I don't really feel like we're like that much. So.
But not to say it is okay to still do things separately.
Right.
As well, but
maybe it's just a mindset. I don't know. I can't. I've tried to figure it out.
Well, as I was kind of thinking of like, okay, so why was this like not hard? Why was this so easy for us? And I think a couple of things pertaining to what you just said is that both of us lived at home with our parents until we got married, which I think is a little on the weird side for most people.
Yeah.
And so like going from living with family members to living with your new family member, it was actually easier than living at home, because it's like you love your family, but I got to choose to live with Jordan. Like he was the person I wanted to live with. I was just born into my family, and even though I love them, like of course it's going to be easier to like pick your roommate, right? And so, but given that transition of, I never really had like my own space. I mean, I had a room, but like I still had to share the house with my family, and I also have 4 other siblings, so I grew up with having lots of people in the house, and so sharing space was not a new concept to me at all.
So right, and it's like you're going. It was easy because I've heard that it's hard for some people who have lived with like just a roommate or whatever, and then they move in with their wife, because it's like your roommate doesn't really care what you have a say in what you're doing. So for us to live with our parents and for that long, it's like, well, you're going from a situation where somebody still cares about what you're doing to somebody cares about what you're doing. so there was no like, oh, I'm, that feeling of like, man, I can do anything I want. I'm totally free.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's how I felt anyways. But look, I'm trying to wrap my mindset into what other people's sets could be, and it's like, it's hard sometimes. I'm not trying to sound conceited, but like you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes.
It's kind of like when you go to
differently.
college and you feel like you have all that freedom, and then you move back home and it's a little bit hard.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really go through that because we're like living with people.
Right.
It was pretty seamless.
Anyways, so what is something else on our list? We're almost done here, guys. Trust me. Okay. We pretty much talked about everything that we wanted to talk about. So, the last thing we wanted to say was basically you don't have to live with somebody before you're married to like really know what you're getting into, because we didn't, and we knew what we were getting into.
And I feel like that is a fear with a lot of people that I've heard, is like, especially when people found out that we had not lived together and that we were getting married.
They were like worried for us and stuff.
Like, well, how are you going to know if it's going to work out? And
Right.
how are you going to know if you're compatible? And that's just like, living together is not your compatibility at all. Like, it doesn't equal it at all. It's just like something you do because you are compatible.
It's that mindset, man. That's what it is. It's that mindset. It's like, do you guys have similar mindsets?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, then it'll work out. But if you don't, it's like it probably won't, and you'll have a bad first year of marriage, because it's like, dang.
So if you're on the fence about it and you want to move in with someone because you think that it will help you decide if you want to marry them,
it's
probably not going to work out,
probably not gonna
because
work.
that should not be your basis to a strong relationship. It should be so much more than that.
Right.
And so basically, in short, marriage is really great.
Yeah.
And you don't have to listen to all the negative. And I'm sure there are things that are going to get harder later on in life. I mean, so far,
Right.
I feel like marriage is so easy. Like, what we've been talking about, we've only been married a year. So we still have a lot more to go. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah, same. So, look, if you're out there and you're, like, worried about getting married in the future, or you're with somebody and you're scared, you really don't have to be scared. It's going to be okay. Okay, we turned out pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're strong, still
fun.
So.
We believe in you. So I guess that's all we wanted to say. We should probably turn this off now. We've been going for quite a while. So guys, see you next week. I don't know what it'll be to new subscribers. If you're still here, thank you. If you unsubscribed, okay. But yeah, anyways, we'll see you next week. All right, bye. I'm gonna see if I actually turn the mic on. That would be okay.